I recall Sam very vividly because we sat beside each other in class for 3 years at Portora. And I think he was probably the first person who spoke a kind word to a new boy, myself. He was a very popular boy in the school. In those days, you were called either by a nickname or, more generally, by your surname. Sam was one of the few boys in the school who was always known as Sam Beckett to the others. He had consistently good reports there, and he was particularly good in English. The headmaster, Seal, gave a special prize every year for an essay, and Sam walked away with it every year, even when he was competing with boys in forms higher than himself. He also contributed light, humorous articles to the terminal school magazine, Portora.
Oh, he made an impact because he was a very good scrum half. He was blind without his spectacles, but as bold as a lion around the scrum. And in his final year, he was secretary of the he was his second year on the first 15, and he was secretary of the rugby club, and the rugby team went into the final of the Ulster Schools Cup. And I happened to look up a record the other day. It said the newspaper described how Beckett did very well against his opposite number in the final, the Campbell College boy De Lapp, who played for Ulster schoolboys, and was one of the great schoolboy scrum halves of the time. He played cricket for the 15 with his spectacles. He played cricket afterwards for Trinity. I think I remember him boxing. I'm not sure about that one, but he was a perfectly normal boy at that. Academically, every year, at least for 2 or 3 years, 2 years at least, he won the gold medal for the English essay at school. That was the gold medal, the headmaster's essay, special subject, a special exam. And he was one of the brighter boys of his year, of course, which was above me. I was precocious enough, but I never caught him up. And he was a perfectly normal boy. Now, we had one master who was a natural butt, and who apparently didn't dare resign. There was too much unemployment in those days, and was kept on, an old boy fellow named Tackerberry. And I remember that Beckett and another man, Thord Sinclair, C.E.R. Sinclair, who became a novelist, wrote 3 or 4 Irish novels. They organised, when this man took prep, which was an enormous study hall, where the whole school gathered at night, and one man sat on the dais and controlled. They organised the singular sing-song singers and issued a programme, and at a given signal from Beckett or Sinclair, we would all start singing certain tunes. And I remember one night this was going on, and Tackyberry, the master, lost his temper completely. And he knew who was organising it, Beckett. And Beckett got under his skin, and he rushed down at Beckett, and he began beating Beckett round the ears and boxing him up. And Beckett sat in his desk, warding off the blows as best he could. And the man lost control. And then looked up quietly and said, "Hit one of your own size." And this showed Tackyberry what he'd done. And the only time I've ever seen a master burst into tears. And he went back to the stairs and sobbed and said, "That's never been said to me in my life before." He'd always been a turbulent man, I think. He was a man of 55, 60, I suppose, this time. And he said, "Here I am, reduced in my old age to being the convenient piss pot for the whole school."